All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. So, all right, let's get this started. Angry. All right, Kimberly, thank you for 5x5. Evolving Media, Brian, Base, thank you for 5x5. Broke, thank you for 5x5. Flown Grown, Ozark, Groundhog, Grit and Grace, L Rock, thank you for 5x5. Tirshi, Dobie, Maria, Cowboy, 1 second, Broke Stacker, thank you for the 5x5. Raven, Nancy, Raccoon, Streetwise, Lost, Joseph, or Josh, sorry, excuse me. Trapper Bob, Adam, Eyes Wide, Highlander, Old Man, Jordan, thank you for the 5x5. Beef and Chicken, Hudson Valley, Jas, thank you for the 5x5. Joseph, WTC Crow, Tishir, okay, sorry, thank you for the 5x5. American Viking, Lazarus, King, Renee, Sersha, Katie, is that how you say it? Thank you for the 5x5. MS Coast, thank you for the 5x5. Mr. Landfill, Teddy Roosevelt, thank you for the 5x5. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. Raccoon Eyes and Maria Jackson, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Appreciate it. Buffalo Nomad, thank you for the 5x5. And Real Revolution, 5x5 just means loud and clear. Maria, Shabbat Shalom. T is here. All right, Roger that. Sorry, I thought it was like a special sounding whatever. Sorry. Anyway, all right, guys. So let's get on with the day. Oh, I also have to, I guess, shout out my youngest son who is 10. Right, I'm pretty sure he's 10. Uh, 10 or 11, one of the two. But either way, it's his birthday today. Um, I am bad with the ages. I can't remember the ages to save my life. If you put a gun to my head and you were like, "How old are they?" I'm like, "Fuck." My daughter's the only one I can remember, which is wild. The boys, they're old enough to be jerks. But anyway, uh, let's get on with the show. So, time is running out, guys. We are undoubtedly, oh, shit. I don't know what. I don't know where to go with. He's 11. He just turned 11. His mother just reminded me. I thought he was 10, so he's 11. All right. Next year he'll be 12. Anyway, honest, what you call it? Again, I have a horrible time remembering their age. But whatever. His birthday's today, which is pretty. Listen, all of their birthdays, every last one of them I was born, it was an awesome day. It always is, right? And then they turn into fucking little, you know, talk backing assholes, and you want to punt them across the street, but you still love them. Anyway, Happy Mac. Happy Mac. We are going to talk about the Qatar Air Base facility. Listen, it's a military base. Let's not. They're trying to be cute with the Qatar Air Force Base or whatever it is, calling it a training facility. Get out of here with that shit. Enough. That is the worst BS I've ever heard in my entire life. That they're trying to get away with calling it a training facility. It's a military base. I can guarantee you that American citizens will not be able to step foot on that base. Now, watching everything go on in this, we're going to talk about that in the Angry Truth, but this is bad. This is not good, like at all. So we're going to get into that conversation later tonight on the Angry Truth channel because that is the most bizarre. Listen, I told you he was going to stab us in the back. Yeah, so here we go. So this is the not only is this the knife in the back, he's twisting it and laughing at the same time. And all I'm going to leave you with this is that we're going to talk about Muslims taking over America. And this is part of it. This is the biggest slap in the face to American citizens. Yeah, man. Adriana, a lot of countries do come here to train, but they do not have their own military base to do so. That is the difference. I understand a lot of countries come here to train. I also know that they train. A lot of countries spend their elite forces, if you will, to train with the SEALs or the Rangers or the Green Beret, right? That I get, but to build a military base for them, it's bullshit. That is a night and day. That's a night and day difference, man. Night and day. But anyway, again, we'll talk about that later tonight. Today, as far as the time's running out, listen, this digital ID thing, and I spoke about it in my last live stream. We talked about Vietnam and the 87 or 86 million accounts shut down, and then all of the tracking devices. Things are getting out of control. Things are getting really out of control, and it's funny because it's almost like leaps and bounds. Like it'll make a big jump, like a technological big jump, or some tracking device, or some new program and AI, and then it slows down. Then it jumps again. You're like, what the hell's going on? And the digital ID thing is going to get like inherently bad, and we all see it coming. The problem is a lot of people are saying, well, AI is a tool, and we got to use it. Paige, we're going to talk about that Trump plane later. But I don't think, I mean, he received, we'll talk about the plane later. But anyway, so they're going to back us into a corner with this digital ID thing. They're undoubtedly going to back us into a corner. And that is the problem. We're going to see a lot of people who are like, I'm not joining the program, join the program. Now, we don't have too much time. If the timeline is correct, we don't have too much time. But if we start preparing now, and what I mean preparing, I mean we're gonna have to start learning how to live off the grid, and a homestead is what we're going to need, because this system that they're building, I don't think we might be too old for it to be fully engaged or fully operational, however you want to look at it. But we are undoubtedly going to watch people get forced into a position. I think we'll be too old to make a difference. Bad Boy Channel, yeah, that's the thing, man. Like the digital ID and AI at the same time, AI operating digital ID. China does it now. Their AI system runs their social credit scoring system, which allows them to surveil all of their people in the major cities, that is. And obviously, if there's an infraction, you walk across the street, you drop garbage on the ground, it allows them, AI monitors it and allows for money to be taken out of the account if you hit such an infraction. Now, I don't know if they have like a three-strike rule or whatever it is, but I know that there was an actual video of people crossing a street, and they crossed against the light and out of the lines, if you will, the walking, my God, the crosswalk. They like walked outside of it, and a whoever was filming it goes. There's a how do I explain it? There's like a billboard right on a sidewalk. Can you see this? Right. So the billboard. So they're walking towards it, and they incur some kind of infraction, and on the board has a picture of who made the infraction and the amount of money being deducted, or the fine that they're getting and being deducted from their account immediately. And it was two people that did this, so it was a chick and a dude. Their names, the infraction, and how much was being deducted from their account. That was in China. That video, I don't know how old that video was, but I saw it a few months ago, or maybe a month or two ago, and I was like, "That's." And again, they use AI to engage in that manner. So Larry Ellison, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's the guy that just bought TikTok. He made a statement that if citizens are surveilled or watched all the time, we're going to behave better. That's his idea of keeping us aligned, is having us watched all the time. For the doggies, please remind me a little later tonight to talk about 3i Atlas. Matter of fact, I'll make a note right now. Atlas, is it? Yes, 3i Atlas, right. I'll make a note right now to talk about it, because there was a couple of things that 3i Atlas currently did that's like baffling people, and one of them was a signal that came from it and they're trying to figure out what it is, whatever. Why is your beard always unhinged? Because it is. What am I supposed to groom my beard? Yeah. Anyway, well, because we're human and we make mistakes. So anyway, so this whole thing, guys, is well, yeah, I understand he's a tiny hat, but the the whole, if we watch them, they'll behave. No dice, man. I'm out on that. Like out on it, like you wouldn't believe. And the problem is, he's going to bring that. Listen, it's going to hit cities like New York first or California, whatever it is. He's going to have that implemented here, where we're being watched all the time. The thing is, he doesn't get. Larry Ellison doesn't get that Americans operate differently, right? We don't operate the same way. The Chinese have always been groomed, if you will, or raised to be respectful and follow the laws and yada yada yada, right? That's how they were bred, if you will. Americans have always been fast and loose, always. So even with cameras operating, I mean, if you're wearing a mask like most of these kids do, that's not going to matter. And on top of that, a lot of these kids don't care, right? So they'll incur a ton of infractions. They don't give a shit. They'll go through the black market. These people behave. These people think that we're going to behave better. Like the black market isn't going to explode and start selling all kinds of shit on it just to get around this nonsense. Wearing possible fake contacts in, maybe a prosthetic to change your face a little bit. Like these people are going to get through to the whole thing. The hackers and shit, the criminal element, if you will, are going to get through it. They'll be fine. Um, Telling us that we have to abide by it and it'll help us behave better. The only people who are going to behave better are, I guess, people like you and I, and not me, but like the law-abiding citizens are going to be the one that are going to follow the rules. The criminal element will never follow the rules, no matter how many cameras you put out there, no matter how deep or good the social credit scoring system is. Criminals do not care, right? So I don't understand this ideology that, well, if we watch them all, they'll behave. For who? Yes, old women will behave. Grown ass men might not behave. I mean, they'll behave a little bit, but listen, they know that a better part of America, for example, will abide to this. Look at how many people folded like cheap suits to take something they didn't need, right? People took an arm ticket that they didn't need and fell to that. So, of course, they're going to have a majority of people that are going to jump on this, especially if you threaten their bank account and their funding. Now, that's why they're trying to get rid of cash, because some people be like, well, if they're going to affect my bank account, I'll pull my cash out. All right. Then you pull your cash out, then what? Your cash is useless. That piece of paper is useless because everywhere, almost everywhere, is trying to go cashless now. People are telling me, I don't go to stadiums or sporting events, but people are telling me a lot of stadiums are now cashless. You had a lot of the restaurants here, not restaurants, I guess fast food restaurants, like those salad tossing ones, those gay ones, green for bean, and all those stupid, gay vegan spots. A lot of those went cashless. Then they ran into a problem. They ran into a power going out, and they gave their food away. But that shouldn't be a solution. You should be able to take cash. Well, obviously, guys, everybody is. It'll be the gate of your walk too. Limp, different way each. Audio, I wouldn't be surprised actually, but everybody's gait is. There's some gates that are the same, like gay ass men in New York City. They all walk the same. You're like, why do they all walk like that, right? So that'll be hard to tell. Once we all start walking like gay men, they're gonna figure it out. They won't figure it out. Excuse me, they won't figure it out. Texas girl, how do we stop it? We stop it by not engaging. One, two, we make sure that companies that implement this, we boycott them. It's simple as that. And if they all do it, then guess what, man? We build our own, farmers market, for example, and we start selling shit by way of trade. So if they have no cash, we start trading shit. We have to get more people on board with that. And the problem is, society today is too comfortable to do that, right? Nobody wants to be uprooted and do shit the hard way. Um, they want to be. Everybody wants to be coddled. Everybody wants everything to be the easy way. That's the unfortunate part about this. We're not going to get the what you call it we want. Like for example, here's a great test. Great test. The Super Bowl. You got that asshole Bad Bunny performing all in Spanish and telling Americans they have 4 months to learn. So what everybody needs to do, this is my campaign for the next 4 months. When the Super Bowl, you want to watch this. First of all, you should stop watching the Super Bowl, but whatever. If you're going to watch the Super Bowl, when Bad Bunny comes on the stage, turn off the halftime show. They have monitoring systems that will see the viewership drop the minute Bad Bunny gets on the stage. They're like, oh, he's on the stage, let it drop. Now, if there's a couple other performers, maybe you want to turn it on, or maybe through the entire halftime, you turn off the game. Done. So then the viewership drops, and they go, oh, Bad Bunny was bouncing around like like an asshole for a half hour, whatever it is, and then the views go back up when the game's back off. That's how you do it. So now that also what it does for the NFL, the Super Bowl, is that if it drops during that moment, a lot of commercials also play at the halftime. You shut that down, a lot of commercials are going to lose money. They're going to be pissed at the NFL for allowing this asshole. And then next year they'll put somebody more responsible. Now, keep in mind, Jay-Z picked this asshole, right? So, and Jay-Z is part of the whole Illuminati bullshit. Show and tell, are you serious? Do you have a video? After Super Troll Stroll. Yeah, the Super Bowl is that's how you fight against certain things. Stop watching TV shows. Forgot what TV show I was watching. They had I don't know what it was. It was a gay dude trying to be a chick, or it was a gay guy just like a chick. I think I told some of you guys this story before. It was an interesting show about like an alien invasion or an alien object in the sky. And the alien object appears, and the scientists are trying to figure out what it is. So they have a manned mission to go get closer to this object. And it was on Netflix. And so at some point in the show, the alien object appears, and they go, we got to check that out. Round up the gays. And they get a bunch of people on a spaceship. So they get on a spaceship, and I'm thinking, okay, space crew, they're going to have like a lesbian and a gay dude in there. Fine. Not fine, but okay. So one guy is wearing, I shit you not, was like an S&M outfit. It was patent leather, a patent leather skirt, halter top kind of mess. And I'm like, why is he wearing that on a space? And so, of course, he shows up, he prances around, he does a fucking Prince pirouette, and then he disappears off the screen. You're like, the fuck was that? And then they're all sitting around a table, and they're all wearing like, regular t-shirts and shit. And they're like, they're all sitting around a table wearing a t-shirt. And then one of the guys goes, we should go back to wearing uniforms. And the captain of the ship, she goes, they stopped having us wear uniforms a few years back. We could wear what we want. What the fuck? I was like, first of all, lazy is writing an excuse. Secondly, they're on a manned mission to observe an alien object. The last thing you want is an alien to see some dude wearing a dress doing pirouettes on your spacecraft. Like, who wants that shit? Needless to say, the show did, I think, a second season and then it tanked. It should have tanked out, from that, but it tanked out of that. It was worse than a gay tricks, dude. It was bad. It was like I understand. No, I don't. He was gay. We get it. But he was wearing an S&M leather dress outfit. If I can get this picture for you guys to watch, you're going to look at that picture and you go, that made no sense. They wanted this guy to be so gay. Super duper gay. He was like Superman gay. Like super duper, bullets bouncing gay. Like he was just, and it was uncalled for. His whole demeanor. Anyway, that was a dumbass show. Once I saw, and this was a few years, this was probably 3-4 years ago. The wife and I are watching it. We saw this dude doing pirouettes in his drip. Boop, stopped the show. Done. We stopped it probably 30 minutes in after they showed him. We didn't even get like, it was bad. It was bad. Anyway, point is, you can protest or yeah, you can protest by way of stop watching a lot of these shows, right? With Netflix, there's a whole cancel Netflix, cancel your Netflix, cancel it for a month or so. You know, I mean, there's some good shows on it, not a lot anymore, and I know a lot of people are hanging on for Stranger Things, the last season, but cancel your Netflix, wait till Stranger Things come back on, watch the Stranger Things, then cancel your Netflix again. Done. Make it show them that we're the boss, not the other way around. Because the problem, guys, with all of this shit is that they know that we're addicted to our shit. So they're like, these idiots. They'll continue to watch it no matter what we put on. The iPhone, for example. How many people are buying a new iPhone every year like morons? Robert Thiel, tell your son happy birthday. Um, how many new iPhones come out? It's the same thing. They make a button here, they add up, they take a button away, they put a new feature here, they take that feature out. Why? Right? And so they keep tricking people into buying a new phone when there's no big leaps and bounds on the phone. So I stay with my phone now for a couple of years. They try to throttle it down and shit. I don't care. Throttle it all the way down. I can care less. Or I couldn't care less. It is what it is. They trick us knowing that we are lemmings to our phones, TV shows, and shit like that. I have no problem canceling shit, man. You know, but the problem is they know that we are going to watch the shit because we're idiots. Bottom line. I Silent Guard. I tried to watch a Tubi movie. It was horrible. It was called Run, the alien movie called Run. Yo, I almost threw my head through a brick wall watching that show. Horrendous, man. Horrendous. It was like a black sci-fi movie, and every actor in there was bad except for what's his name, the kid that was in like You Got Served. He was okay, but everybody else was whack. All of the chicks with their fake hair and their this bullshit through the whole movie. I'm like, alien. Their attitude could have ran aliens away the way they were behaving in that movie. They were like, yeah, my girlfriend in here. And I'm like, oh, gross. And then I turned the movie off. I couldn't watch it. Acting was so bad. If the aliens were gonna invade, they would have saw that shit and been like, and then fucking went in the opposite direction. Horrible show. It was really, really bad, man. Tubi is really horrible. They got some good movies, old shit we watch, but anything they produce, horrible. It's just a garbage ass movie. Their sound effects is some shit that like a 5-year-old would make. It's crazy, man. I never seen such shit. I'd never seen such bullshit. But it's if you want a good laugh, join Tubi and watch some of their shows. You're just gonna die laughing. You're probably gonna die of embarrassment or laughing. You choose. But anyway, guys, what are we gonna do with the time running out? Like I said before, things are getting tough. We're gonna have to figure out a lot of shit. We're gonna have to figure out a lot of shit on the fly. Things are just going to get really bad. They're definitely going to start cutting us off at the knees with everything going on. Again, the digital ID, the mark of the beast, the whole 9 yards, it's coming. And the crazy thing is, it's coming, and the elites who are in charge of this keep telling us what's coming in our direction. And we keep going, yes, sir, boss. We're like the new slaves of the 1800s or slavery period. We're the new slaves. We, yes, sir, boss, gives up more, and we all start tap dancing in shining shoes. Shining the elite shoes, that is, not, ours. But, yeah, man, bad news. All bad news. All right, so Three-Eye Atlas. We're going to talk about that in 5 minutes or so. I'll get to that in a little bit. Watch 92 Space Movie. It's great. I don't think so, Jay. No dice. I think you're tricking me into watching a bad movie. Listen, I like bad movies, but some of these movies are really bad. You know how bad some of these movies are? I wonder who produced it. Who said, that's a good idea. Let me back it financially. Why would you? Some of these movies are horrible. I don't understand. Like someone was like, "Yeah, man, a bunch of black women running around shaking their head and their fingers with their weave and shit, saying yes or saying yeah, ma'am, no, ma'am, that's cap, that's cap." Like, how did they say? Oh, that's a good movie. I want to see black women running around from aliens. I don't. Horrible, man. Oh, you see that spaceship? It looks like a piece of paper floating in the air. That's the greatest special effects I've ever seen in anybody's movie. I couldn't imagine backing a movie like that. I would be pissed. I'd be like, you did what? I was like, don't thank you, man. Horrible, man. Naughty retro space movie. Oh, is it a naughty retro? Like a? I don't want to know. Don't care. Someone said you like Sharknado. Sharknado is a bad movie, but it was purposely made bad. And when you watch it, you're like, oh man, that's horrible, and you laugh. But that Alien Run, horrible, man. Not to be confused with Run with Patrick Dempsey. That was a good one. That was a '90s movie, right? He showed up in Tennessee somewhere, and it was a Tennessee mob, and he like punched the wrong guy, and then he's running throughout the whole movie. It's a pretty good movie for its time. But this Run is a horrible one. You're gonna see Run. You're gonna see an alien head with an alien ship in his reflecting off his eye. You're like, oh man, this looks like a good movie. You watch the trailer. The trailers are okay. All right, I'll watch it. You watch the movie, you're like fucking bullshit. Fuck this movie. Like seriously. Angry. Have you seen Rescue Me? I saw Rescue Me. Rescue Me was okay. It was all right. It was a lot of it got worse in the later seasons. You're like, wait, what? It was an all right show. Every fire they go to was just like get something. It was weird. Again, every fire in a TV show. Granted, there's some fires you can see in, and then other fires you can't. But in that TV show, you could see in every fire, clear as day. Oh, there goes a buddy over there. It was whatever. And then like the storyline, the plot just got worse over the years. But whatever. Ants on a Plane. I bet me, you, and many of us could make a great movie. Yeah, man. I think a lot of us could make a better movie than what Tubi has. I could probably put a movie together with my iPhone and still put better special effects on it than that shit. Oh yeah, so Prepper Revelator. We were talking about it, I guess earlier today, right? How the government is tracking Christian phones, and the Israeli government are tracking Christian phones when they're in church. Apparently pushing Israeli propaganda on their phones while you're in church. This stuff, guys, came just in time when Larry Ellison, who bought TikTok, who can now monitor your phones. They're monitoring everything we're doing. And yeah, listen, guys, we're getting backed into a corner. That's the bottom line. The amount of things that we're going to need to do to be, I guess, self-sufficient, that window's getting smaller and smaller. I just worry about if they're going to continue to poison the air and the land and the water so that we can't live on our own. Right? Right now, a lot of us are thinking, well, hell, I'll just move out over here and no man's land and grow my own. Grow your own what? If they keep poisoning the land, if train cars keep dumping shit into the ground, if rain keeps raining microplastics out of the air, Again, microplastics has been around for a while. They're behaving like the shit's new. It's been around for a little bit. Angryprepper, what's going on? So yeah, we have to figure out something because, again, if they start poisoning the ground, we're screwed. Then what are we gonna do? Yo, these ads in the chat is insane. Has anybody seen an ad in the chat and then like clicked on it? Like I don't. Yeah, somebody was saying that Benjamin. First of all, Benjamin Netanyahu. That's not his real name. That's not his real last name. Sorry, he has a very German last name. He picked up this Israeli last name or Jewish last name probably like 30, 40 years ago, whatever it was. But yeah, he wasn't born Benjamin Netanyahu. He was born like, Benjamin, Schiffestein or Schafferstein or whatever the fucking German last name is, and then he changed it to Netanyahu. Uh, like I said, 40 maybe 50 years ago. But yeah, he's not original like Jewish last name. And a lot of them, they said a lot of Israeli higher ups did that. They changed their name to like Jewish last names. So I don't know what that's about. Mechanic says I pay for no ads. Yeah, but the ads in the chat, man, it's annoying. I'm reading it. I'm like, oh, what did such and such said? And then like something about a Bible pops up, or it's like all kinds of odd uh, ads. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's funny. Like you look up his history, he changed his name, and now he's like in power forever. Benjamin Netanyahu is like Vladimir Putin. The same, one and the same. Do the same exact shit. Want to stay in office forever. Never want to give up the reign of power. It's like I see Trump is trying to move in that direction. I'm thinking a big false flag in another 2 years, right? Or maybe another year and a half. That'll keep him in power for a longer time. Again, everything Trump's doing is not good. Is bad. Nomad, is that his last name, right? Milkowski? Was it Milkowski? All right, maybe not that German, but yeah. But I know he, like I said, it wasn't his last name. It's not Netanyahu. Benjamin Rothschild. 2028. Sorsha, I saw that. I saw a 2028 hat from Trump. I'm like, wait, is he running or is that for Vance? Because I heard the rumor is Vance was running, and the rumor was that Charlie Kirk was supposed to be running with Vance. Now there's a rumor that his wife might be running for vice president come 2028. Which, if she does, then they absolutely replaced him. Charlie Kirk, that is. And someone was trying to make an argument about Charlie Kirk, by the way, and what the fuck's his name? Tucker Carlson. And that Tucker Carlson, someone was like, well, oh, Nick Fuentes, he's starting to backpedal right now. He's definitely backpedaling. And Candace Owens is starting to backpedal. So after I put the video out, what was it, today on her? She's starting to backpedal, talking about, oh, the bullet was lodged in his spine and a bone. And she said bone, and I go, spine and bone are two different things. So when she said bone, I'm going, whoever fed her that information lied to her. It wasn't a bone, it's just spine. And your spine is very fragile, very fragile, right? I mean, it's hollow, it's weak, hence is why it snaps so easily. And when she said that, I was like, oh, they got to her. So she started turning around. She was like, oh, he got shot in the neck, and the bullet was lodged in the bone. But she states that it wasn't a 30-06. She goes, it wasn't a 30-06. She goes, the entrance wound was in the front. She's not saying it was Tyler, what's his name? Almost said Tyler Perry. Tyler Robbins. She wasn't saying that either. And she was also saying it wasn't a 30-06. So I'm trying to figure out where she's going with this. But yeah, audio. Candace dropped a bomb on Turning Point USA, and Turning Point USA. I just read an article before this came on. Before I came on, she read an article. I read the article stating that Turning Point USA is in turmoil right now because she dropped a hammer with that those text messages. So those text messages, being that they were not lying, they were quiet. Now they're trying to answer for it. And Andrew, what's his name, released a video today, I think on the Charlie Kirk show, damage control. He's damage control. He's like, well, I'm glad that they got out. He goes, I wouldn't have spoke about it because it was a private message. But she was like, private message, fuck that. And she dropped the hammer. So let's see where she goes from here. But I think I said that if she starts backpedaling, it's because they threaten her family. Candace is taking a week off. I found that interesting. Again, because they're threatening her family, and now she's trying to figure out how to pivot. Nick Fuentes is starting to pivot as well. He was another one. Well, I'm not saying He goes, it doesn't make sense that the Israeli would have went after Charlie Kirk after he was Jew bashing the hell out of them. He goes, well, if they were going to go after anybody, they were going to go after Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, this, that, and the third. I'm like, no. Charlie Kirk had a bigger following. Not by much, but he had a bigger following, and he was gaining more supporters every time he spoke. And they were grooming him to be vice president. That's why they would have gone after him, before Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's old. Tucker Carlson's influence is not the same, though a lot of people still listen to him. I still do, but it's not the same as Charlie Kirk. So you go after the young person and you make it a point, right? You make it a point to go after him. So again, none of this is looking good. But again, a lot of people are going to start backpedaling. I don't know what Israel has, but Israel has some shit. Turning Point USA was Charlie Kirk. People will back away. Yeah, the thing is, out of a knee-jerk reaction, people were signing up to start Turning Point USA chapters. Now they're starting to push the Israeli narrative slowly, leaking a little bit at a time. First of all, not addressing any of the conspiracy theories, not addressing the updates on any investigations in regards to Charlie Kirk. They're not updating us on anything. Starts to say he's only 56, not old. Yeah, but Tucker Carlson is old in comparison to Charlie Kirk, right? That's old. That's like dinosaur years when you compare the two. Like Tucker Carlson's older than me, but I'm older than Charlie Kirk. I'm old. I'm picking out my my old age home. My sleep shorts and my sleep shirt. Getting ready for old age, man. It's all downhill. Went to a fire the other day, and after we got out, I thought my shoulders were gonna fall out of the socket. That's how old I am. We're pulling ceiling, and at some point, I must have jerked something, and I went up and I came down. I was like, oh shit, and I felt like my shoulders was gonna drop out. So now they feel better now, but I'm like, this blows. So yeah, being old sucks. Don't get old. If they and that's the thing, like they're gonna go after, they got Officer Tatum. You guys have to see that video with him and Benjamin Netanyahu. That looked like a hostage fucking video. It was like they were telling him, reading these cue cards and say this, and he was just like, yes, I love Benjamin Netanyahu. He is the greatest. Yeah. But yeah. It was a bad video. It was almost like, wow, dude, you might as well just fucking suck his dick on TV the way you were talking about it. Agility is one thing. Overuse is something else. And the thing is, in the line of work, I heal faster now because I do enough mobility work. But still, the positions we work in is not straightforward, right? We're always, we're always leaning over something or reaching for something in an odd position. It's never working like this, never up and down. It's always at some fucked up angle. And then we get hurt and then we don't do it again, But it's definitely not better. Your shoulders are conspiring to betray you at the worst time. Well, you know what? I've had a lot of injuries over the years. Obviously, anybody would, right, in this kind of a job. And I get through it by doing the right thing. I do take CMOS, and I've been taking CMOS for a while. I don't take collagen. I got to suck that up. Yes, Cobalt. He said they only spat on us once. And they didn't only spit on us. They spit on him. That was the worst part about it. And he was like, it was a Muslim kid. I was like, no, they don't do that. Yeah, Officer Tatum. That's when I was turned off about him. When he was talking about the Uvalde situation and he was like sticking up for them. I'm like, what? We're watching video of these fucking pussies be pussies in real pussy time. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. And he was defending this shit. Are you sleeping better? Raven Wolf. Not really. Some nights are really good and other nights are bad. But it is what it is. Again, You know, eventually it'll die off. You know, it'll simmer down or whatever the fuck it is. But no. He said a Jewish kid spat on a pastor. Right, but Benjamin Netanyahu in that video said, oh, it was a Muslim kid. Benjamin Netanyahu blames Muslims for everything now. Like, don't get me wrong. Do not get it twisted. We're watching what they're doing to this country. We're watching what they're doing to places like Dearborn and what is it, 2 or 3 cities in Texas. We're watching this shit in real time. You're going to watch what's going to happen in New York when Mamdani wins. So they're not innocent either, but they're not out there spitting on Christians like Jews are. Bottom line. So, Alton, I stay away from melatonin. I'm going to take my, I should have taken it now, but after this, in 20 minutes, I'm going to run in there, get my, not melatonin, what is it called? Magnesium. I'm going to take that. And that normally helps me sleep better at night. Red Cap, Goblin. I noticed that last night. I remember looking at the sky and going, why the fuck's the moon there? And it should have been gone. And we had an early run in the morning, and I saw the moon. I was like, that doesn't seem right. I thought so too. And now that you said that, yeah. Listen, Jay No More. Here's the problem with Officer Tatum is that he was up Candace Owens' ass. I mean, he was up her ass when they had that whole falling out with Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk and her, and he was like, "I'm team, Candace," and up her ass, and and now I'm up her ass. And then she said a couple of things about like Charlie Kirk, and suspicions and all that. Then he was like, "Oh no, you can't talk about Charlie Kirk like that. I wish you would stop. Everything you're saying is wrong." I was like, "Dude, you were licking her vagina last year. Not even last year, a few months ago. He was fucking in her ass." And now she was talking about the suspicions of his murder, and then then Officer Tatum starts tap dancing like the fucking Uncle Tommy is, like, "Yes, sir, boss, I have to be there for you," like, and then started saying some other shit. I was like, yo, when you turn on your friend like that, there's an issue, big issue. Well, yeah, that wasn't good. That was not a good look. And then that Benjamin Netanyahu, I went to Israel. It was great. I will go there again. Kiss the wall. Yum, yum, yum. I was like, what is it? Yo, I'm going to tell you something right now. Possession is a motherfucker. And a lot of these people have to be getting possessed against your own will. And I forgot which one it is where that can happen, where you're sort of like, you got to go along with the program, like your body's out of sync. And you know what you're doing is wrong, like going to Israel and kissing that wall. Like, that's wrong, but you're doing it anyway. They tell you to, again, remove any religious, Christian, off your body to go there and kiss that wall. That's bad, man. That is bad. And every politician has licked or kissed that wall. I'm surprised they didn't rub their dicks on it. It's bad. Whatever that wall is, it's bad. It's not what they're telling us. I've never seen so many people come back like they just like they were somebody else, saying some different shit, doing a 180. Whatever that wall is bad. GABA Network. Listen, man. It has to be more than blackmail. Has to be more than that. But it's weird the way these people are coming back. Matt Macy hasn't. He hasn't. I wouldn't know. I don't. Listen, I'm seeing pictures of a lot of these people like in the last couple of weeks that I didn't even know. Like Ivanka Trump. I guess I don't know when she went. I saw a picture of her rubbing her fucking cheek against the wall. I'm like, what is going on here? Why are so many people rubbing their fucking face and rubbing it and crying and the history? And I'm like, what is it? It's wild, man. I've never seen such wildness in my life. It's almost like pod people, body snatchers, something like that. It's almost like that. Like they go there and they come back and they're different. Whatever it is, it's not good. It's fucking bad. Whatever that is. Looks like my son appreciated the shout out. I guess he was actually watching. Because this show is not for kids, but then again, my kids do. I guess they got used to my mouth and the tomfoolery that comes out of it. She converted, did she? Okay, all right. I didn't. Yeah, right. Because isn't her husband a tiny hat? If I'm not mistaken, they're not possessed. They're mental idiots. There is that too. Yes, you're right. It could be so. They could have gone full retard. Again, I think Candace Owens in the next couple of weeks in the next couple of weeks, she's going to be walking back a lot of the shit she said, or trying to figure out how she could walk back what she said. That's probably why she took a week off. But do I believe in angels and demons? Yeah. I listen. I remember one time I saw this kid. I saw this kid. I used to rollerblade right back in the days when I was like, semi nerd. I'm still a nerd, but I used to rollerblade, right? And there was this kid that used to rollerblade, and he had this evil look about him. I mean, listen, you, this kid, if Omen was about a kid, an evil kid, that was this kid that I met. He was a little older than me at the time. He had this look on his face, and I remember, listen, it bothered me. And again, I'm rollerblading, right? I'm fucking doing ollies and shit and porn star and boom and landing my tricks and killing myself. But I remember he came over and he just gave me a bad feeling. I look at him and I'm like, and his buddy knew him. I'm like, why does he look like that? He had this look on his face. It was like evil. It was the most demonic look I've ever seen. And I remember saying, this is a bad kid. And I was an asshole. And I'm looking at him like, this is a bad kid. He's going to do some fucked up shit. I don't know what happened to him after we got older, but I met him a couple times and I did not like him. And normally when kids hang out, we all get together, we do shit. We fucking throw, donuts at fat kids. You do dumb shit like that when you're a kid. Him, I never wanted to hang out with this kid. There was just something about him that was untrustworthy and evil. Broke, exactly. He had dead eyes. Exactly. He had a look on his face that was just like, for a kid to look like that, there was something wrong. And I remember this kid till the day. Till this day, I remember exactly what he looked like, where he was sitting, what he was doing. He was pretty good at rollerblading, because I guess when you worship the devil, you're good at everything. But I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying he had a very evil look to him. And it was just, I was like, wow, you know. And so, yeah, and like I said, I don't know what happened to him later on. I don't know if he became a crackhead or not, but yeah. Can you see the movie Israel? There's a movie Israel? I know there's a movie Brazil, 1984, 85. I don't know about Israel. Why waste a donut? Give it to a cop. Well, somebody was going to get it. Fat kid or a cop. You choose. Yardbird, living in your head rent free. Yeah, I guess you could say that. But every time I talk about evil, this kid pops up all the time. Anytime I just remember that look on his face. Sell your soul to rollerblade. Probably. Were you an aggressive fruit booter in the 90s? No, I don't think so. Whatever fruit booter is. Pretty sure it's gay, but no, it wasn't gay. I didn't want AIDS, man. I didn't want AIDS in the 90s or ever, I was running rampant then. Who wants AIDS? I remember I picked up a chick and it was in the back of an ambulance and she was a mother. I think she had 2 kids and she said she had HIV. And I remember when she said that, I'm thinking because she's a woman, I'm like, oh, she got it from a blood transfusion or something like that. And I go, so, I asked her, so how did that happen? She goes, oh, my boyfriend gave it to me. And then she follows it up immediately with, he got it from another girl. And I was like, he got it from what? He got it from another girl. He gave it to me. He cheated on me. I go, I said, I don't. I said, okay. I left it at that. I said, all right, okay, okay. And I go, he didn't get it from another girl. He got it from another dude. Um, yeah, I was just like, it was the weirdest conversation. She was like, yeah, I forgave him and this, that, and the third. I said, you guys are still together? She goes, yeah. I go, I didn't know what to say. I was like, holy shit, man. You know? Did I break dance? I tried. I wasn't good at it. Cardboard box in the street, listening to fucking, bebop and shit and trying to break dance. Wasn't good at it. Like, not at all. Especially when my father yelled at us because we tried to spin on our heads. He was like, nope. Um, yeah, Magic Johnson didn't get it from a chick. Nope, not at all. Margaret, she wasn't in denial. I just didn't know how to tell her that. I was just like, all right. It wasn't my business to tell her that anyway. That was the other side of that coin. It wasn't my business. But hopefully she realized it. I don't know. It was wild. It was a wild thing. When like Easy E came out and said he had HIV and then what's his name? I got it. I'm like, you didn't get it from a chick. You did not get it from a female. Sorry. Do you pop and lock? Not anymore. I'm too old. You know what's popping and locking right now? My knees and my fucking elbows. That's what popping and locking. When you turn 40, everything pops and then locks up. It's fucking bizarre. Dude, I went down the stairs the other day. This is how old I'm getting. I went down the stairs and my knee, it bends. It locked forward and I stepped down. I fucking almost fell. I was like, what the fuck is this? If I would have fell down the stairs, I would have laid there and not moved and wait till somebody found me. Because that was just bad, man. The way my leg, I was like walking down the stairs and my leg click, click, and it locked. And I stepped forward. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was just going to lay there until someone found me and just be like, what happened? Old age. Just get me to an old age home. I'm going to resign right now. Resign being a fireman, resign YouTube. Just going to go to an old age home and play fucking pinochle with Gertrude and her friends. Because holy shit. I couldn't believe that happened. Yeah, I should have called AARP after that shit. You guys have any discounts? Because it was bad, man. It was bad. It was just the way it locked in front of me. It was like click. I was like, oh shit. And a step forward. If I wouldn't have recovered, I would have been in a wheelchair right now. You guys would have been seeing this live stream in a fucking hospital surrounded by old people. How'd you break your hip and your knees at the same time? Fell down the stairs. Why? Because my knee locked up on me. All right, so for the doggies, we got a couple minutes. So the what is it? 3-Eye Atlas, right? The 3-Eye Atlas thing. Listen, there's a lot that's being said about this thing. I mean, a lot of people. Johnny threw away to have Affleck. But anyway, there's a lot of things that are being said about this. Now, there are a lot of YouTube channels that are stating like all of the oddities that are going on. Like again, it changed direction for a second time, but when I looked it up, it's nowhere to be found. But the Harvard professor that found it found more anomalies with 3-Eye Atlas, right? So he thinks it could be an alien ship or a probe, that is. And like the movies, when they come and attack us and they come from all angles, apparently space travel doesn't work that way. And they're starting to learn that from a lot of the crafts that they're seeing. And this object being as big as it is, it's the size of Manhattan now. First of all, it was half the size of Manhattan. Now it's the size of Manhattan. And they're like, that was a red flag number one. They thought it was smaller. Then it got closer to a satellite that took clean pictures of it. And they were like, oh shit, it's way bigger than we thought. Then again, the simple fact that it flew into our solar system on our plane, meaning all of the planets are on the same plane, right? We're all on the same plane, and we're circling the sun, and not the same manner, but we're circling the sun on the same plane. So every planet is fairly aligned with one another for the most part. And this thing came right into the solar system on the same exact plane. So that was red flag number two. The changing of the colors got them curious because it's not emitting enough gases for it to do so. Though comets do change colors, they're like, this changed colors and there wasn't enough gas for it to do so. So there's a lot of weird shit that this professor pointed out. Now, do I think it's an alien craft? I like to think so. Am I going to hang my hat on it? No. You know, I just find this whole 3-eye atlas shit very, very interesting. It did something. There was a signal that came from it, and they said that scientists are baffled, but they're not telling the public. But somebody's leaking this information out. So there is that. Plane, like flat Earth plane? No, not plane like flat Earth. Plane like in line with all of the solar system, with the way we what the hell they call it? There's a term for it. Something plane, where it came right into the solar system at the same plane as all the planets, and they said the likeliness of that was like 9 million or something, like 9 million or one or some shit like that. A lot of people saying I'm young. You tell my fucking knees that I'm young. And my elbow keeps fucking clicking. I'm just getting old, man. I'm just going to start watching Golden Girls and The Cosby Show and you know, Alice, the TV show, right, about the waitress. I'm going to start watching that shit. So, yeah. Because I'm old now. I don't have anything else. I'm going to get a fucking robe and some slippers. Might as well. Play backgammon and Othello on my computer with my old friends, all 60 years old, talking about the good old days when we were young, because, yeah. Is it called elliptical plane? Is that what it's called? Yeah. So, Colts, I got mail from AARP the other day, and I threw it right in the fucking garbage. I'm like, AARP must have our date of birth, right? Because as soon as I turned like 42 or 3, I started getting mails from them like ever so often. But now the mail is increasing, as if I'm gonna die soon, and they want me to become a member before I die. It's the wildest thing. I'm seeing more and more of this shit pop up in my email. I'm like, really, AARP? They're like, oh, this guy's gonna die soon. Let's flood him with AARP shit. I'm like, you motherfuckers. Enjoy your last Halloween, pagan, satanic, hell day, you heathens. Yeah, well, listen, Manilow. It's yeah, whatever. It's a shit show. He says at 50 you get a ton of emails from him. Maybe so said that. You do? I know AARP is woke. I know that much. But the fact that I'm just starting to get more shit from them is bizarre. Like my father, he started getting something from AARP when he turned 40. I think they've been around that long. And he remember it was one of those companies for old people. He was like, "What the fuck? Why am I getting this mail?" He goes, "Somebody signed me up for it. You know, get your auto insurance through A. Are you people advertising for AARP? Wait till funeral arrangements and insurance. Yeah, AARP is linked to the IRS. I said the same thing because usually you start when you turn 50. Yeah, but now War Donkey. Now they're going after younger people. They really are. They're like, yo, you got to get an AARP before you die next week. I'm like, what? I'm going to die? Should I join AARP? You get cheaper movie tickets, I heard. I don't know, man. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm going to go off the air in a couple of seconds. But listen, we're going to have to develop a game plan. Like I said, things are going to get bad. Homesteading might be the answer. Prepper community is another angle we could start looking at. We're going to have to start developing our own system to step away from this system because they're going to box us out. They're going to put our backs against the wall, and they're going to tell us either we join this system or we're out. And a lot of us are probably going to be out. A lot of us are. But we shall see where this goes. But this is going to be picking up very fast, very soon. Other than that, guys, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it as always. I will see some of you guys on the Angry Truth channel. We are going to talk about this nonsense military base that's opening up in Idaho. Other than that, guys, thank you for joining me and appreciate it as always. And I will see you guys next Tuesday for the doubleheader. Thank you.